Welcome to the fifth week of the course. We are glad to see you're back. Today's topic is the life cycle assessment of nuclear energy. My name is Sara Boarind and I will present you the key concept of this topic. A life cycle assessment encompasses all the phases of a product's lifetime and evaluates its impact on resource utilization and its economic and social effects. During this lecture, some concepts of nuclear power generation life cycle assessment will be discussed. The economics of nuclear power will be treated in the next lecture. Today, about 17% of all electricity in the world is generated in nuclear power plants. A pressurized water reactor with a burn-up of 65,000 megawatt-day per ton requires 145 tons of natural uranium for 1 year of operation. Fast breeder reactors will improve the fissile material utilization and thereby will reduce the consumption rate. The global annual uranium requirements are projected to rise from 68,000 tons in 2016 to between 72,000 and 122,000 tons by 2035. Uranium resources are classified depending on the level of geological confidence and on the extraction cost category. Non-recoverable resources with a price lower than $130 per kilogram of uranium are estimated at 5.9 million tons and will cover our current usage for about 90 years. Undiscovered resources are expected to exist based on geological knowledge of previously discovered deposits and regional geological mapping, but require significant amounts of exploration to confirm their existence and define grades and tonnages. In the 1990s, large amounts of weapons-grade uranium and plutonium came to the civil market due to several treaties between the United States and Russia in order to reduce their nuclear arsenals. This material has since been used to fuel nuclear power stations. You have already seen in last week's lectures that part of the spent nuclear fuel can be reprocessed to produce fresh fuel in a closed fuel cycle. However, reprocessing is only one of the ways we can use to increase the efficiency of the nuclear fuel. Other ways are increasing the enrichment of the fuel on the front end of the cycle, or increasing the burn-up by using the fuel for longer periods of time in the reactor. Mining and milling produce the so-called yellow cake, where natural uranium contains 0.7% concentration of uranium-235. This concentration needs to be increased to 3.5% for use as reactor fuel. The enrichment is based on the physical separation of isotopes by means of different technologies. The waste from these processes is depleted uranium. After enrichment, the uranium oxide is pressed into pellets. Radioactive waste is classified according to the concentration of radionuclides and their respective half-lives. The main component in volume is the low-level waste. It comes from nuclear plant operation and typically consists of contaminated protective shoe covers and clothing, mops, filters, reactor water residues, and tools. Big volumes of low-level waste may come from nuclear power plant dismantling. Demolished material such as concrete, plaster, bricks, metal, valves and piping. Intermediate level waste typically comprises resin, chemical sludge and metal fuel cladding. High-level waste mainly consists of the spent fuel. This picture gives you an idea of volumes of waste products in spent fuel. 15.6 tons of enriched uranium are needed to fuel a generic 1 gigawatt pressurized water reactor. This means about 1.8 ton per terawatt hour produced. Plutonium represents slightly less than 1% in weight of the spent fuel, and the other transuranic elements even less, but they are the major cause of long-term radiotoxicity of the spent fuel. After on-site storage for tens of years, the spent fuel is sent to a reprocessing facility or directly to a final disposal. Fuel reprocessing reduces the radiotoxicity in spent fuel. Recycled plutonium is used in the fabrication of MOX fuel for light water reactor. Partitioning and transmutation reduces the radiological hazard in terms of magnitude and duration by eliminating long-lived heat-producing actinides and reducing the quantities of the fissile and fertile radionuclides that present proliferation concerns. Final disposal options for high-level waste are geological repositories. The fuel is confined in special canisters able to reject residual heat and stored in tunnels about 500 meters below the surface. Studies on geological repositories for high-level waste are ongoing in Sweden, Switzerland, USA, France, Canada. In Finland, a geological final repository is currently under construction.